fence too high?
Yeah, like I was just bringing up one thing that I was just looking at. I was just looking at the paperwork and looking for the community impact that's occurring.
Oh, to the Board of Variance.
I no, I'm just looking at like what the cause of all of this is exactly.
The cause of it? Well, the height is higher than permitted, so the zoning bylaw for that property is set at a certain height, but the fence is higher than that, so it's not meeting the zoning requirements.
Yeah, I was just looking at the paperwork provided here, and there's some speak of cause, but I don't see any actual documentation of the cause.
Okay. So really the best people to talk to you about the Board of Variance application is that board or at the municipal hall here
One second. You're speaking about something I'm not familiar with. It's titled hand delivered. It doesn't say notice or anything on it, so I'm not really sure what to refer to it as, but it does have legislative and protective services at the top.
Okay. So this is the letter that I sent with my name on it.
That's what I'm speaking. Is that the
notice letter, yes.
Okay. Does it say notice on there and I'm just failing to see it? This is the notice letter?
Let me just pull up here. Okay. So it's what we call a form letter, and it describes obviously what was noted on the property. It goes to the bylaw, zoning bylaw, and then also what's required.
Yeah. So again, the reason for this call here is that there's some talk in this letter here about a cause. I just don't see that included. Is there more information about this?
So what do you need to know?
There's in this letter here it says the word cause, and I'm just trying to understand.
This causes your property to be in violation.
The first, starting at the top there, on November 14th, 2024.
I had cause to visit you. So the cause was a complaint. So I responded to a bylaw complaint about the fence being too high. So I had cause, I had a reason to visit the property, and that was why it was a bylaw complaint.
Right. Is there a particular reason why that information is withheld?
Yes, Freedom of Information Act. Also, Senate policy also restrains from handing out or providing the information about the complaint.
Right. So does that mean that we're not going to provide any documentation of like community impact?
Well, it's again, you've broken the bylaw. The bylaw is fence too high.
Yeah, we're looking at again the triggering of a bylaw and the cause of the triggering, correct?
Well, the cause was a complaint about the fence being too high, and it is too high. So the zoning has set heights, and it doesn't meet zoning. It's higher than the zoning.
Yeah, we're still trying to get we're just trying to get what is this valid cause that's being used to justify.
The bylaw's been broken. Same as building, plumbing, high grass, tall weeds. There's a zoning bylaw which has restrictions of what you can do, what you can't do, and the height of that fence breaks it's a contravention of the bylaw.
Maybe it's me. I'm not conveying correctly here. My concern is the validness of this complaint. What the complaint was about. Like I'm concerned about a potential community impact, and we want to make sure that we understand what it is that justifies the triggering of a bylaw, like the foundation for this?
Because the complaint was the offence that's property exceeding 6 feet.
Well, the reason that, like, without that included, the complaint, it appears to be more in a personal capacity, and that was my concern.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Sure.
So, and it seems like in a personal capacity, it wouldn't meet the legislative and protective services policy stating that for just an example, for that bylaws aren't mandatory. They're enforced upon some sort of community impact.
So what you're telling me is you're not going to adhere to the bylaw and keep fence the way it is?
Did I say that?
I don't know. Why did you say that? Like, I'm kind of confused where you're going with this. The fence violates the bylaw. It's black and white. I've got pictures and measurements. So it does not meet the bylaw requirements. The fence is higher than what's permitted.
Yeah, you're indicating...
It's speed limit 70. You don't do 75 because the limit's 70.
Yeah, just 1 second. 1 second. No, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Just 1 second here. This is a procedural issue, is what it sounds like, and that's why we're going over procedural correctness.
So we have a bylaw policy which is complaint driven. When we receive a complaint, we investigate that complaint. So we have an actual signed bylaw policy. You can go online and you can look at the policy, which is complaint driven.
Yeah, we're just trying to get a meaningful reason as to why there's a bylaw being enforced or triggered. We're trying to get the procedural reasoning and meaningful reasoning for these actions.
Well, there's no really meaning about it. There's been a complaint about the fence. So therefore, the procedural action is that when bylaw receives a complaint, we investigate it to see whether or not it's valid or not.
Right, but the complaint and even the mention of a complaint is unmentioned in this alleged notice. It does not, usually it titles notice or something on it, so I just don't know what to call it.
So the sentence that says visit a property has supposed to visit property and noted that a newly constructed fence at the front of the property had been built taller than permitted for lot zoning. Is anything that's unclear? So was that clear? How
we're kind of jumping the initiation of this for this. That's what I'm trying to get an understanding as to how we're justifying the use of a bylaw without like a valid cause even being mentioned, right?
Well, we're not going to say John Smith at 2444 drove past and saw a fence on this day in this height and took a photograph of fences, are we?
I don't know. I would think that it would be at least mentioned of what the cause would be, though.
Several policies we do not we do not provide any information regarding the complaint. Now you can do a freedom of information request at signage. Names will be redacted, addresses will be redacted, so you're not going to find out who made the call. But we had a complaint.
The concern's not about who. The concern is what the complaint was. And I would think that if it can be redacted and presented, it wouldn't have been maybe too much to ask to have a fully prepared document so that there isn't confusion or ambiguity as to what it is that caused this to begin, or even for us to be talking about the height of a fence right now.
We had a complaint. The fence was too high.
Yeah, I mean, you failed to convey that in this letter. That's what my concern is, and that's why it came across in a personal capacity, and I was concerned and wanted to get some clarification.
So you want me to change that so it says we had a complaint? So I visited property?
Well, I don't know if I'm asking you to change anything. I'm actually pointing out just the lack of it, which is failing to meet the standard, which is I thought there was a safety concern. That's what my first thoughts were, is, oh my gosh, is everyone okay? But it seems that there is no concern of any hazards or anything. Is that correct?
It's not always the hazards. Tall grass is not going to provide a hazard. Noxious weeds, it's not always about a hazard.
Is there a
It's not
safety
a
concern
it's a
or
by-
public
no,
welfare concern?
It's a bylaw. It's a bylaw concern.
Again, is there a public interest concern?
Yes, because the zoning bylaw was agreed upon by the public when it got voted in. So obviously there is.
Okay, so what is
So
what is
when
it
a
that?
bylaw gets written, it goes out to the public,
Yep.
and they have the opportunity to provide input, and obviously they did. That's
Okay.
why every bylaw has been written.
So what is the public interest for the matter currently at hand?
Well, the interest is over the height.
What is the public interest in it? That what you're mentioning is not telling me that there's an impact on the community for a public interest matter. I'm sure that sounds reasonable. Again, we want to make sure that there's no concerns.
Okay. Well, it said
The reason, may I add, sorry, may I also add,
it does not meet the zoning height.
yeah, I just want to add in, the reason that the fence is there from what I've been led to believe is because there was some concerns for safety, and this alleviated that. And so to hear that there's thoughts of another public interest concern was why I'm delving into this, and I've just yet to hear anything of the sort coming up. Is there, yes or no, any sort of public interest in the matter?
Yes, because the public voted them. Because yes, there's a zoning bylaw which enforces rules. Those rules are to be adhered to. So yes, there is.
Okay, and what is the public interest? I don't think...
Is that the height fences at the front of a property do not exceed the height that a house does.
And that affects the public how?
It's irrelevant. It's a zoning bylaw.
I thought it was a matter of public interest. For that to be, it has to have some sort of impact on the community, and the community has to be involved in some way for the cause of the triggering of said bylaw. As far as I've been led to believe, anyways.
I'm kind of confused with the whole thing here. So what exactly are you asking me? Because there's a zoning violation here. The zoning to height the fences is not being met at the property. So speaking to the contractor and speaking to the property owner, I said, now, because of this zone and the fencing heights, you can apply for a board of variance, which is specific to each property, where you go to mayor council, where you go to the board of variance, people in this board, and you say, hey, because of this reason and this reason, we would like to change the zoning for our property. And then at that point, anybody can jump in and say, oh, we disagree or we do agree. So here you go. So that's your opportunity to get public involved. Because in order to change the rules for that property, apply for a board of variance. So I've done my best to really, really help the process of this, so that they can, the property owner can try the option first. Without taking the fence to a lower height, there you go. Have a try the option. And if it works, fantastic, the fence stays. And then the variance for that property is changed for the front fence. Mm-hmm. So therefore, at any point in time, any public can voice their opinions then.
Right. I don't know if you're aware or not, but I believe that there's been a failure to convey any sort of public interest in the matter. If you're able to look into that and get maybe if you could just look into that, get back to me, or even send something.
Sorry. You again? What's your name again?
Let me just 1 second here. If you're right now not able to pinpoint some sort of matter of public interest that's meaningful, then could it make sense to maybe not enforce something that has really no justification? Because I believe that what the bylaws are there to do are for public matters of public interest, which would include some sort of a safety concern or some sort of impact on the community. I'm just surprised to not see that in this letter. So I believe that there really is no triggering of a bylaw, because I've yet to see anything meaningful suggest otherwise.
Well, you mean you have that opinion?
Well, I'm telling you what I'm seeing. We both agreed that nowhere in here did it state what you said the cause of this was, which was a complaint. The word complaint is not even mentioned in here. So again, we've got hearsay, and then I'm looking at some allegedly official documentation that doesn't even include what you're saying. So that's why there's a bit of a personal capacity that seems to be employed here by yourself, and all I'm asking for is some correctness, or at least proper conveyance of notice.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to grant you that, because that's a letter, and it says there's a note that is.
Well, no, I believe you're obligated to. That was where I was coming from, because again, we want to make sure that the community is not negatively impact, and that is something that is supposed to be part of your justification for, or having a valid justification in order to be triggering these tools that are, again, for the community.
Okay.
So I know it's near the end of the day. I'll leave you on that note, and I'll come back to it. I'm going to process what you've said so far.
I wouldn't bother, because I'll let you know now. If there's no steps towards getting compliance, then fines will be issued.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say, is we're trying to get it.
You've got the option to dispute those tickets.
There's nothing to dispute. We're trying to get clarification.
The zoning bylaw permitted. So as much as you want to go on what tangent you're going on now, okay, the fact is the zone, the rule has stated a height of a fence. That fence has broken that height. Now,
no problem.
I want to worry about the whole community society and that whole frame, because to be honest, the fact is you've broken the rules. And the bylaw has rules that have been broken. Now I'm trying to work with you and the homeowner and get this resolved. And right now you're fighting, and the more you fight, the longer it takes. The longer it takes, the more enforcement comes.
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't want to come across like we were fighting. I like to thought that we were working together. I'm just looking for clarification, and I just was being transparent on what I see and what's being conveyed. And by all means, I'm just looking for clarification, and so we can understand this, because everyone involved so far is actually confused and not understanding. And there's been an impossibility of actually contacting the builder of this so far. I've yet to be able. I haven't been able to get any information from him. So to be honest with you, I apologize if it did come across confrontational. I'm just dealing with the homeowner that is, this is, quite a bit for her to. So she's a little distraught over it, and of course, because she didn't build the fence, she doesn't even understand, right?
I'm trying to help, and I'm trying to help her.
Me too.
Listen, I understand, mate. I am trying to help her. That's why I came back out to the house, because she sent me a lovely letter. I went back out to the house to speak in person. I know she's not doing too good right now. I even gave her a list of the documents, and I've called the contractor and spoken to him to get him in shape. So trust me, I'm on your side, mate, in this.
Okay, good.
Okay?
I like that.
I'm on your
So
side.
how do we?
This letter's over 2 months old now, and I'd say it's pushing past the more that I can give. I've given enough as I can. I'm trying to give, but I got to follow bylaw. That's my job. So I'm trying to help.
Yes, and me too. And again, what can we put? I need to get a hold of the builder to figure out how action can be taken to correct something that needs to be corrected. I'm looking at it like, if he can't be contacted, and again, this is comes down to finances at the end of the day. We're just trying to alleviate this for the homeowner, and I don't think she expected to hire someone and put out money to get a headache. She actually thought she was doing a service for the community, because the hedgeway there, like she had mentioned, I believe in the letter, it did cause a safety concern, and last thing she expected was to alleviate that, and then what she thought is that these and myself, that these bylaws are for mainly safety, and that we've alleviated a safety concern, but yet this seems to be enforcing this for a safety concern from what all the information seems to be reading about bylaws and the service.
No, yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. The fact that there's a zoning bylaw and the fence is not meeting it. Now, unfortunately, it happens where somebody in good faith hires a contractor and they don't follow the right rules. They don't follow the correct procedures. And you know what? There's times, yeah, it's a great no, and that's kind of why I'm trying to work with the property owner on this. And I'm trying to but there's nothing to do. The fence should not be greater than 1.5 meters. 1.9, it's 1.9 meters in the backyard, 1.5 meters in the front yard. The fence is, it's higher than what's permitted. Now, like I said, so she can either A, have it cut down to 1.5 meters, or B, apply for a variance. And to get the board of variance, I'm not going to say if it will get approved or not. Typically, fences have a higher success rate of being approved. She's got very good reasons. I've saved her letter in the file. She's got good reasons for getting this approved, but the process has to be done. Now, ideally, I know her ability in this level may be challenging because of technology and the photographs, etc. So I went to the house to kind of get the documents. The contractor will be good to do this, but there's only so much more time I can give. This letter went out on December the 4th. That's 2.5 months ago.
No, for sure. Yes. Can I one last question? Is there a reason for the height limits, just so I can just grasp what's going on here?
Truthfully, I don't know, and that is a good question. Honestly, okay, so what was your name again?
My friends call me Toto.
Queso?
Toto.
Toto?
Yes.
Isn't a dog?
Like the little dog, that's right.
Right, that's a great movie.
Okay, it is.
So, for example, you can only have buildings at the back, accessory buildings must be, 3 meters in the fence, okay? That makes sense in case there's a fire, it's not going to spread, or maybe squirrels or something, I get it. I don't know. It's a good question. It could be because of security, because of privacy. I don't know the answer. I'm a bylaw officer. We do have zoning. You're more than welcome to ask. I don't know why.
Okay.
To be honest, I've never seen, typically I don't see fences that are greater than that. I don't know. It's a good question. And you're going to get some zones where it says you can't paint the house red in this area, only blue. It's a zone. Windows, roof, etc. But that is, to be honest, probably Google it. I'm sure out there's a reason.
Okay.
Hedges can be as high as you want.
Right.
Fences, however, only a certain height.
Right.
Because there's times I tell people if they're having issues at the back with whatever's going on at the back of the property, and I say, well, if you have a hedge, there's no height. But fences, there's a height. Whether or not it could be the stability, maybe it's the stability. There's a wind happening. If you've got a 6-foot fence next to a sidewalk and the wind blows, that 6-foot fence may be in range of the sidewalk, so somebody might get hit. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I agree that there will be an answer. I would agree with what you said, a safety concern like that, and that's why I had brought up what I had said. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense now. Okay.
And the probably bylaws, some cities don't have tree bylaws to save trees because no one's cutting them down. Other cities, they're getting chopped removed like wildfire. So then you've had to bring in a tree bylaw. Fences and zoning, I'm quite sure somebody back in the past had this, went to mayor and council and got approved. I don't know, honestly. I don't know the answer to how wide the height.
Okay. I'm gonna look for the reason, because I'm sure that there must be a reason, and of course, if we can't find a reason, then we can come back to this. Does that sound reasonable?
Not really, because my advice is I'd work even towards getting it lowered or getting board of variance, because fines will be issued, and I really do not want to give her a fine.
Yeah.
She's a lovely old lady, and I don't want to give her a fine.
No, for sure.
However, I've also got to be consistent. So if I'm letting off John Smith down the road from his fence saying, you know what, buddy, you're a nice guy, forget about it. Leave your fence 10 foot high. Then across the road, Mr. Smith, I'm like, no, sorry, love, it's got to come down. No, we're being consistent here. And consistent is following the bylaw, which is a set of rules.
For sure.
I encourage you to either get that board of variance or lower the fence.
No, I understand. If nobody asks, then of course, then there's not really like an expectation for a reason. But I just mean, I would assume that the bylaw would have a reason. And like you said, I'm going to Google it and see what it is because, like you said, they all have a reason. Would you agree? Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, noxious weeds will spread from one property to the next. You don't want your property to be infested by dangerous weeds. I get that one.
Yes.
So there is, but right now, the fact that I understand, and you know, hey, there's nothing wrong about being curious. You, like I said, as far as I'm aware, the property owner was looking at going for the vote of variance option, which is keeping the fence. So that way, by keeping the fence height and having it approved, means that to keep the privacy, don't get cut in half. Could be a win-win. Okay.
Right. Can I actually request you to look into that, seeing as that you got more resources and provide the reason just to help speed up the process? That I think that would allow us to feel more confident as to what this situation is, because the reason should make it quite clear as to why this is very important. Is that too much to ask?
Hey, so give me 10 minutes. I'll pay back. How's that? I'll go and ask zoning right now. How's that?
I appreciate the effort. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay, bye.